Welcome to the very first episode of Offbeat for Season 9, RMITV's home for all things arts, culture and entertainment. I'm your host, Victoria.
And I'm Jean Bolsh. Before we begin, we would like to acknowledge and pay our respects to the traditional owners of the land on which we record, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation.
We have a very exciting show planned in celebration of NAIDOC Week.
This year, from November 8th to November 15th, we dedicate this time to honour the history, living culture and success of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. On today's episode, we catch up with Sianna from Clothing the Gap, a local Aboriginal-owned social enterprise with a powerful message, to learn more about their mission, active allyship, the Free the Flag movement, and so much more.
Let's get right into it. Welcome back to Offbeat. You're here with your hosts, Vic and Jean, and today our wonderful guest is the head of brand and marketing at Clothing the Gap. It is Sianna Catullo. Firstly, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Vic. Thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to have you as well. And we're really excited to talk to you today. And firstly, just to start, can you tell us about what actually is Clothing the Gap and what is the aim in creating it?
Yeah, so Clothing the Gap is a Aboriginal owned and led social enterprise. So we're a fashion label and we create clothes like this. So we sort of like to say, we're merch with meaning. We create Aboriginal designed clothes with powerful messaging behind it, and the whole purpose of it is we want to not only unite Aboriginal people and non-Indigenous people and celebrate Aboriginal culture and Aboriginal people together, but we also want to create really important conversations in society and educate and raise awareness about certain issues in the Aboriginal people face. So that's what Clothing the Gap is about. We started as a way to self-fund our own programs. So it's a social enterprise, so our money gets reinvested back into programs that we do at the Aboriginal communities. Was in Victoria, but then I guess when COVID hit, we've sort of found ways to go virtual, and which has been actually really cool because now we're not limited just with connecting and networking with Victorian mob, but we're actually able to connect with people from all over Australia, which has been something really amazing that we didn't even think was possible in such a short amount of time. All the money, or what Clothing the Gap do is reinvest their money into that. I suppose to add years to Aboriginal people's life. So I guess that's why we exist, is to add years to Aboriginal people's life, and we wanted to do that without government funding. And when it's such a short amount of time, in 2 years, we're actually in a position where we fund ourselves and we don't have to rely on government funding, which is really exciting.
Why did you choose fashion as a way to execute your mission, and have you been surprised how successful it's been?
Yeah, really good question. We haven't got asked that one often. Laura's co-founder with Sarah. Laura is a Gunditjmara woman, and she was we're all health professionals, like I said, and she used design as an incentive to get people to come to a program. So she created really nice training singlets with like a Gunditjmara Victorian artwork throughout, and if the community members came to 6 out of the 8 programs, then they would receive a free singlet. And so they all really loved the idea of it because it was a custom-made singlet, it was unique, and you couldn't get it anywhere else. So I think Laura's always done that as an incentive to drive people to come to programs. And I guess when we started Clothing the Gap, looking at widening our audience, one, we all love fashion. Who doesn't love wearing something nice? And I guess fashion, we've seen the political power and how much power fashion does have, and how much influence it has, and how much people admire fashion and designer and brands. So I guess it was a way for us to put our messaging out there in like a cool, fun way, and a creative way. But another, like, Aboriginal people have always worn, always was, always will be, or their flag on the t-shirt, and I guess it's a form of protesting, which they've done for generations. So I guess us paying respects to that and, coming up with more modern day version of that is really cool. And yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and when your like label does reach these audience all over the world, what is kind of the main message? As you said, there was, always was, what always will be. Is there any other messages you want them to kind of know as well?
Well, I guess for international people, it's not really like, they probably have little understanding of Aboriginal people. You know, I've traveled a lot of Asia, and last year I was in New York, and they don't even know what an Aboriginal person is. I guess in America they don't really know anyone other than Americans, so a lot of them. So you know, educating on like, what is an Aboriginal person, and saying like, comparing it to like Native Americans, and we're Indigenous, and being able to go on that journey of just the visibility of Aboriginal people over the world is amazing. And yeah, I guess the visibility piece is really, really important to us. And even if that's all we're doing to them, like for them, that's cool. Other messages that we do, I guess because we are quite political in a sense, you know, Free the Flag's probably our biggest one, but for Survival Day we really push the, you know, we don't celebrate Australia Day, so we've got a t-shirt that says not the date to celebrate, and we you know, raise awareness and educate people about why Australia Day is offensive, and why it's a day of mourning for Aboriginal people, and why we think the date should be changed, which is, it's been really interesting. We have had pop-up stores. We have a pop-up store for Invasion Day, but before that we had some pop-up stores that people came to buy some of our stuff. And this one guy came, and no idea how he found out about us, but I think he just Googled like Aboriginal business or something. And he said he was going camping for the weekend with all of his, for the Australia Day weekend or Survival Day weekend. He was going camping, and all of those people obviously celebrated Australia Day. So he goes, you know, I wanted to wear this t-shirt to have those conversations in my own circle that wouldn't even know about this, and wouldn't even probably know an Aboriginal person. And well, we can't go into those circles and educate those people because they don't know who we are. Like, he's wearing his t-shirt, so he can go and do that work for us, which is, yeah, cool. Other messages that we do, not the date to celebrate, Free the Flag, and then I guess like the Shades of Deadly thing is an Aboriginal campaign, and it's about celebrating Aboriginal people, and the merch is going to be for Aboriginal people, but I guess that's going to be an educational tool for non-Indigenous people as well, that Aboriginal people come in all shades and colours. And, you know, I don't know how many times I've copped like, you don't look Aboriginal, and, you know, challenging the stereotypes of what Aboriginal people look like. And people think if you're Aboriginal, you only live in Northern Territory, you only live on the West Coast, there's no Aboriginal people in the city. So, you know, challenging those stereotypes as well, they're probably one of our main messaging things.
And we've noticed that much of the merchandise sold by Clothing the Gap can be, much of the merchandise sold by Clothing the Gap can be labelled as ally friendly or mob only. What does this mean, and why is it so important to make this distinction?
Yeah. This was something that we sort of made for ourselves, but also for our supporters and our customers as well, because we just get flooded with messages in our DMs on the daily, non-Indigenous people sending us a photo of a piece of merch and saying, can I wear this? Am I allowed to wear this? And, you know, I did do an automatic reply and being like, yes, our clothes are for everyone. But we're like, how do we make this easier? Because sometimes, you know, we don't have time to go through messages all day just replying and saying people, yes, you can wear them. So we came up with this really cool idea of having little like stickers or symbols on all our clothes to say if it's ally friendly or mob only. At the moment, all our clothes are ally friendly, which means, you know, they're for everyone. We like to say we make merch with mob in our heart, but everyone in mind. So that was the idea behind it, to make it a bit easier for everyone, and which has really helped, because we'll still get the odd message, but yeah, I think people feel a lot more confident in what they're buying now, and feel like, you know, I can wear this, and this is why I can wear this. I think they just need the like tick of approval to wear it. So yes, ally friendly is like, things like this is ally friendly. There's only one t-shirt that's in the making, and it's called Shades of Deadly, and that's a mob only thing because it's a campaign for Aboriginal people celebrating their identities, and that we come in all shades and colors. So yeah, we'll really clearly state when we think it's mob only merch. But generally, like, my rule, or what I've always said to people is, one, if you don't really understand the lingo or you don't feel completely comfortable wearing it, then it's probably not for you to wear. But yeah, it's been a process in going on that journey with people, because you know, I'm glad people are asking those questions, can I wear it, because it means that they're aware to some degree. And yeah, I guess it's just, you know, we're an educational tool, so we're just taking those people on a journey of educating people.
There's more where that came from. We'll be right back with Sianna from Clothing the Gap after this short break.
You're back with Offbeat, RMITV's flagship arts, culture and entertainment program. Here's some more from Clothing the Gap.
For our audience members who are non-Indigenous people, what can they do to be better, more active allies to those within the community?
Yeah, this was a question that we really had to reflect on when, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement really came alive in Australia, and all the protests that are happening. You know, we just got like so many more supporters, we got so many more followers, and we got so many more people buying stuff from us, and we're like, wow, this is amazing. But also, like, I didn't want it to come across as, you know, performative or tokenistic, in like the sense that, like, oh, I bought a t-shirt and I'm an ally and now I've done my part. Like, that's only the start of being an ally, and you know, an ally takes genuine work. I saw a really good quote that a non-Indigenous person put up, and it was, allyship is a set of actions, not beliefs. You can't, you know, it's not a belief. I believe in these things and I support these causes and I believe what they believe. That's not an ally. It's like, what am I actually actively doing to change the system and just to dismantle the system? So, you know, buying merch from us is a start, because it's a conversation starter and it's a much easier conversation to have. Like, if I was just wearing a plain black t-shirt, I'd go around. It's much harder to talk about, you know, the always was, always will be Aboriginal land thing with a plain t-shirt. But when you wear stuff like this, you'd actually be surprised of how many people come up to you and actually like ask about it, or, you know, want to start a conversation, or you get the head nod like, I agree, I support you. So yeah, we're wearing our clothes also, and you know, that's also supporting our purpose and our impact piece as well. So that does stuff. But you know, keep educating yourself, I think. Keep up to date. Like, we really push and make sure, focus on that our social media pages has the educational resources so people can keep educating themselves. But we also, post a lot about other mob and other Aboriginal people that are really doing good things, and we encourage other people to follow them and support them and to go on this journey. So it's continuous. It's not you do one thing and you've got the tick of allyship. It's an ongoing movement that you need to join and understand. And yeah,
and I think that's so well put as well. It is about kind of saying one thing is, you know, not the same as actually, like you said, putting it into action. And I think that's so great that you make that effort to really make sure your socials are so up to date and educational, because I know for myself personally, it's just such an easy way to kind of get so much information and really, I don't know how to really say it, but like increase your understanding of things that really are important. So thank you for doing that, because it is so important that it's so readily available to us. So we should be doing whatever we can to make sure that we are aware of all these things going on. And speaking of more things online, you do actually have a Connect to Country virtual event coming up. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so like I said before, we are health professionals and we all run health promotion programs because our goal is to add years to Aboriginal people's life. Well, that's why we exist. That's our purpose. And when we all went into lockdown, we're in Melbourne, we all went into lockdown, that our programs just had to start. And you know, it was really hard to stay motivated and, motivate yourselves to even exercise, because it's like, I'm just at home all day and you just get yourself into this rut where, you know, there's no normality and there's no, you don't have like a schedule, like a daily routine sort of thing. So to get yourself back into routine and for us to motivate ourselves, we started a virtual run. It was called Run Rona, and we got up to 5,000 people from all over the world actually sign up to it and run it, which was really cool. And we're all in the staff here, there's 5 of us, and we all run, and it's a passion of ours, and I guess it's a hobby. That's something that we always do, and it's always fun when you can always get another friend or another person that to start liking the same stuff that you like, or to bring them on the journey. I feel like it's a bit of a cult, running. So we were able to offer that opportunity for a lot of people. If they were usually did Pilates or usually played footy, it's like, well, that's not happening, so like, why don't you give this a shot? And it was really nice seeing how many people fell in love with running, and so many people. We encourage people to do socials while they're during their training and during the thing, and just talking about like, I never thought I'd be able to do it, and I did it, and now the next one I'm gonna push for a further distance and that. So that was our first one in May, and then we had a NAIDOC win in August, and that just went off as well. And that one was really special because there was so many non-Indigenous people who signed up for that, and not only were they motivating themselves and getting out and running, but they were doing a lot more research about Aboriginal culture and what land they ran on, and where they lived, and who were the traditional owners of it. So it was cool that a virtual event can have that impact, in the sense of that's the learning journey that they're going on. So I think we've just seen so much power in it, and so much push, how much the community have really loved it, both Indigenous and non-Indigenous. So we've done our 3rd one for the year. We promise it's the last one for the year, but yeah, it's called Connect to Country, and the purpose of it is we're encouraging people to connect to the country they're on, do some research again about the traditional owners and the land they go on. So that's happening November 20th to the 22nd. So it's virtual, so you can do it wherever you want, whoever you want with, as long as you're doing it safely, COVID safe as well. We've got a Strava group as well, so people can connect together through Strava and like follow each other and all that. I guess it's like a bit of a running Facebook page, in the sense if you get a bit competitive, you can see what people's like distance, who's done the furthest distance, who's run the fastest. So yeah, I guess it was a way of how we could bring people together and connect with one another while we're so apart. So yeah, that's our final one for the year. It's exciting, and yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Stay tuned to Offbeat for more of our interview with Clothing the Gap when we come back.
Welcome back to Offbeat. Let's jump into the last part of our interview with Clothing the Gap. Yeah, and I think that's so important as well, considering the mission of Clothing the Gap and everything. It's important that people are making that effort to educate themselves and understand what is right and what is wrong, especially as you said, with that new top or new design you've got coming out. It's good to know the distinction and where your place really is. We've also seen a lot on the news and in the media as well that the Free the Flag movement has been just everywhere. Can you explain to us what exactly it is?
Yeah, so we started the Free the Flag movement and campaign in June last year, after we received a cease and desist. So a cease and desist for selling Aboriginal flag products. So if you didn't know, the Aboriginal flag is the only flag in the world that is copyrighted, and the man Harold Thomas is the designer of the flag, and he holds copyright, and he's licensed it out to 3 different people or companies, and all 3 of those companies are non-Indigenous people. One of the licensees is WAM Clothing, who have the licensing rights to have the flag on clothing. So they were the ones that sent us a cease and desist when they saw our products. We had jumpers with the flag on it, we had beanies with the flag on it, and shortly after we released them, they got a bit of traction and got reshared a lot. And shortly after, WAM Clothing seen it and sent us a cease and desist and gave us 3 days to immediate stop selling. Which was stressful because, we'd just gotten the order. It was a really big order. We'd waited like 6 months for it. There's a lot of time and process that goes into designing it to actually getting it. So it was a bit heartbreaking to hear that. But the community's response, and when we shared that news and let them know that the products can only be sold for the next 3 days, like we sold out, which was amazing because the community just got behind it and reshared it and really supported us. And yeah, since then we started a petition to change the licensing rights, which is, I think we're up to 160,000 signatures right now, which is pretty cool. And somehow we were able to pull off getting every single AFL football club to join the campaign Come Indigenous round. Collingwood was actually the first club to join and lead the way. For that, we had plans earlier on in the year to come out with a big campaign for Indigenous round, but COVID hit and, you know, footy wasn't normal, life wasn't normal, so we didn't think it was actually going to be a thing, but they came through and said, you know, it's a weird time and we're doing things a bit differently, but we still want to do this campaign, we still want to raise awareness about this issue on Indigenous round. And shortly after that, we're like, do you mind if, you know, we're going to call every other club? And it was just the ripple effect. Like once 1, 2, 3 clubs came on, I feel like they felt like they all had to come on as well. So it was really cool to see we had nearly every single AFL football player wear our Free the Flag t-shirt pre-game and on training day. And yeah, it led to, you know, there was media coverage everywhere about it, and, you know, which was awesome because we raised so much more awareness and we got so many more signatures. But the really cool and amazing thing that happened from that was there was actually an investigation at Parliament level and a report done, or an investigation into the flag, and it's sort of like a Senate inquiry thing. So something's actually getting done at Parliament level now, and they're investigating that. So, you know, we like to say fashion and brand there's a lot of political power in that. I feel like we may have more political power than politicians sometimes. And I felt like, or we all felt like that definitely, you know, pulling that off and, you know, just having footballers wear Free the Flag t-shirt and raising awareness, it's actually gone to government level. So yeah, it's really cool. You know, the flag's still not free and there still needs to be some things done, but it's awesome to see so many people supporting it and getting behind it, and even a lot of politicians as well supporting it and doing what they need to do.
It's amazing the reach that it's gained through the AFL game.
Yeah.
Wow.
The power AFL has is crazy.
Even in this round, which has, you know, been a much quieter round, it's great that it's been such a powerhouse for this cause. That's wonderful. And it's great that I guess for everyone at the moment, we're able to span a lot greater distances because everything is online at the moment. And I just wondered, this is an extra question, so please feel free to take time to think about it if you need. So I wondered if you noticed in your clothing stores, but also in these kind of events that are virtual, whether you're getting an international audience from expat Australians or from people who are just suddenly realising that this part of Indigenous culture exists here in Australia.
100%, yeah. It's like when we did the first run, there was countries that I'd never even heard of before, and I'm like, how did they find out about this tiny little Aboriginal brand? But it's really cool, and I guess, yeah, for international people, they're being able to learn about Aboriginal culture, and for the people who, you know, it's home away from home, it's them being able to connect back to their country, or represent, you know, the messages that we have here, like always was, always will be. They're like, I'm in New York, I'm in London, I want to represent and tell people that story over there and educate people over there, which I think is super cool. We've got customers in Japan, Indonesia, where all over the world, which is, I have no idea how a lot of them found out about us, but yeah, it's really cool that they're supporting.
Yeah, and fashion, as you said, it's such a good way to get messages across, and it does start a conversation. As you said, a t-shirt or anything you wear, someone can just start a conversation up, and then it is providing more education, which is amazing. And obviously everything you and Clothing the Gap does is so amazing, and the whole mission and the cause is just wonderful. Before we leave you, we just wanted to ask if you have any final words to leave us with about Clothing the Gap.
Oh, good question. I guess don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid to, you know, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, this is new for a lot of people, and dismantling a system and getting political is new for a lot of people that they've never had to do it in the past. But if you silence in times of ever need, then you're sort of choosing the side of the oppressor. So, you know, you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable and put yourself out there, and, you know, do some research on what you have to support, and what are the next pieces of actions that you want to take, and how do we make this place better for everyone.
Thank you so much, Sianna, for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time out of course, what is definitely such a busy week. So we really appreciate you giving us a bit more education and, yeah, letting us know about your mission, which is just so inspirational. So thank you for doing everything you do, because it's just wonderful.
Thank you for having me, guys, and yeah, for being on this journey with us, and happy NAIDOC week. I'm glad you guys are celebrating it as well, and you guys are doing something for it. It's cool. Yeah, and let it be ongoing as well. We'll have NAIDOC again next year in July, which hopefully there's more physical events too. So for the audience out there, like, don't be afraid to, you know, get amongst the events that people throw and immerse yourself in our culture, because it's beautiful culture and it's very welcoming and it's exciting. So yeah, keep coming along to things.
Yeah, we definitely will. And we'll all be safe, COVID safe. Hopefully we can be a bit more free next year, but we'll definitely be there.
Thank you so much for tuning into Offbeat to celebrate NAIDOC week with us.
To rewatch this episode or discover some old ones, remember to head to our Offbeat Facebook page. Follow us for new content and episodes, and while you're there, leave us a lovely comment. Remember, we're also on Instagram as well at RMITV_Offbeat.
Until then, we'll see you next time. Good night.